For the longest time, we've thought about power as something that comes from these huge, far-off plants. But that's the old way of thinking. What if the next great power plant wasn't a plant at all? What if it was us? What if it was our homes, all linked together? A revolutionary new technology is here, and it's about to put real power, literally, back in our hands. Have you ever felt that little knot of anxiety on a hot day, worried the power might go out? Or that shock when you open your electricity bill and it just keeps getting higher? Yeah, those are real concerns for so many of us. But what if I told you the solution isn't miles away at some power station? What if it's sitting right inside your own home? All right, let's dive in. It all starts with a simple idea. We're not talking about some impossibly complex piece of engineering. We're talking about something you can think of as your own personal power piggy bank. It's a simple tool that really changes everything. Yeah, you could call it a home battery system, but honestly, power piggy bank just fits so much better. The concept is incredibly simple, right? It saves up electricity when it's cheap and abundant so you can spend it later when you really need it. It's your own private energy reserve ready to go anytime. And the benefits for you, personally? They're immediate. First off, you save money. It's a no-brainer. You fill up your piggy bank at night when electricity is cheap, and then use that stored power during the day when prices are high. Second, you get total peace of mind. If the main grid goes down, your lights stay on. It's seamless, it's automatic, and hey, for anyone with solar panels, this is an absolute game changer. You get to store all that free energy from the sun instead of just selling it back for pennies. You can use it whenever you want, day or night. That's real energy independence. Okay, so that's what it can do for one home. But this is where the story gets so much bigger. What happens when your power piggy bank connects with your neighbors and their neighbors and so on? This is where all these small individual batteries combine to create some seriously big power. This is where individual action becomes a collective force. There's a classic saying, many grains of sand can build a pagoda. And that is exactly what we're talking about here. Each home with a battery is like a single grain of sand. By itself, it's useful for sure. But when you get thousands of them together, well, together, they build something truly monumental. And the technology that pulls this all together is called a virtual power plant, or a VPP. And honestly, it's incredible. Just imagine thousands, maybe even millions, of these home piggy banks all network together with smart technology. When they act in unison, they become one single, massive, and super responsive power plant. And a VPP like this helps everybody. Think about it. When the grid is straining on a blazing hot afternoon, the VPP can instantly jump in and relieve that pressure, helping prevent blackouts. If a major power plant suddenly trips offline, this network responds in milliseconds, buying that critical time needed to prevent a major crisis. And for green energy, it's the missing piece of the puzzle. All these batteries act like a giant sponge, soaking up all the extra solar and wind power so that clean energy never, ever goes to waste. So we know one battery is smart, and we know thousands of them working together are powerful. But let's get specific. Just how big could this actually get? Let's run the numbers and see what the true potential of the people's power looks like, right here in Taiwan. Let's just ask a simple question. We don't need 100% participation, not even close. Let's just imagine for a second. What if just a fraction of homes, say 1 out of every 5, decided to join in and get a home battery? Okay, let's do some quick math together. First, you start with the total number of households in Taiwan, which is about 9.19 million. Now, like we said, you don't need everyone. Let's just take a totally achievable slice of that, 20%. And then we give each of those homes a pretty standard, modest-sized battery system. We're talking 6 kilowatt hours. Nothing huge, just a regular size. So you run those numbers, and you get a result that is, well, it's stunning. 11.03 gigawatt hours. Think about that. That's not corporate power. It's not top-down government power. That is the people's power potential. A massive reservoir of energy, held and controlled by ordinary citizens. Now, to really put that number into perspective, check this out. The government's official goal for energy storage by 2030 is 5.5 gigawatts. The potential that could be unlocked by just 20% of homes is effectively double that. Let that sink in for a moment. The people acting on their own could deliver twice the capacity of the entire official national plan. That's the mind-blowing power of a bottom-up energy revolution. Okay, this is a massive vision, right? And with any new technology this big, there are always practical questions. So let's tackle the most important one head-on. What about the next step in storage? Making it absolutely safe and truly affordable. Let's be real. We've all seen the headlines about battery fires, and it's a completely valid concern. I mean, if we're going to put these systems in our homes, next to our families, they have to be absolutely, unquestionably safe, period. Well, the fantastic news is technology is already solving this problem. The new generation of batteries, using a chemistry called LMFP, is way more stable, making them far, far safer than the older types of lithium-ion. And the next wave that's coming? Aluminum-ion batteries. They promise to be even safer, and cheaper too. This isn't some far-off dream. The tech is moving incredibly fast. And you know what? It's not just the technology. The entire ecosystem is gearing up to make this happen. Banks are starting to offer dedicated loans just for these systems. The government is working on streamlining the regulations. And maybe most important of all, the cost is absolutely plummeting. It's down over 30% in just the last year alone. That makes it more affordable and accessible than ever before. So when you put it all together, the personal benefits, the massive collective power, and the new, safer, cheaper technology, what you get is more than just a battery. What you get is a fundamental shift in our role, a shift from being a simple consumer to becoming an active energy citizen. It really is a transformation. You go from being a simple electricity consumer, someone who just passively uses power, to becoming an energy citizen. You're no longer just taking from the grid. You're actively contributing back to it, making it stronger, more stable, and more resilient for everyone. So, the technology is here, the potential is absolutely enormous, and the power can finally be in your hands. The only real question left is, are you ready to take control of your own energy future?